What a way to start a blizzardy morning. Thank you so much, Trent. Good morning. Welcome to All Souls. We are a community of members and friends, and we are an inclusive community. We especially welcome those of you who are visiting this morning or who are new to us this morning. My name is Pamela Patton. I'm the assistant minister, and joining me in the chancel is Reverend Elaine Peresluha, who is our interim senior minister. So if you're new, would you mind just raising your hands, new or newish? You know, maybe you've just come a few times. Maybe this isn't a good day. Oh, we have some new people. Good. That's always exciting. And even on a wintry day, we have brave people willing to come and check us out. Welcome. Please fill out the pew card in front of you with the QR code or in pencil, and we'll get back to you if you'd like us to connect. So also, if you're new or if you've never done this before, after the service, I lead All Souls in 20 minutes, usually with Gretchen, but she's out today, in the chancel here. So please, if you've never done this and you're relatively new or brand new or visiting and just willing to check out more, please come to the chancel right after the service and we'll chat for a little bit. I can tell you a little bit more about All Souls and learn about you. You're all invited, as always, to coffee hour down 2 flights of stairs. Also, it's available by taking the ramp outside and then the next ramp to the elevator, if that's better for you. And today we'll celebrate Melinda Foy, who's in the way back. Raise your hand, Melinda. Who is on was on our board, but she just resigned because she is joining the Peace Corps, which is pretty amazing. So we'll have a little celebration at coffee hour, thanking Melinda for being here and wishing her well in this new adventure. There is a table at coffee hour for young adults, and they're always happy to have newcomers join them. So please do if you're a young adult. We had a 1 p.m. board meeting today, but it's been canceled so that people can get home due to the weather. At 3 p.m. online, we have our caregiver support group. Obviously, no weather issues there, so if you're interested in that, look in your order of service and be in touch with us about that. And today at 5 o'clock, we have our fabulous, intrepid Musica Viva concert, which you are all welcome to come to. There are tickets available at the door, so please just come along around 5 o'clock and buy your tickets then, or come early at 4:15 for a pre-concert talk. We'd love to have you all here. They are, by the way, about to leave on a tour for Spain, so that's pretty exciting as well, and we wish them well. A couple of events are coming up related to moving from a place of concern to a place of coordinated social action that I want to let you know about. And if you're not on our All Souls Resists mailing list and you'd like to be, please write to Reverend Elaine. Her email is in your order of service. The events coming up this week are Wednesday at 7 p.m. The Interfaith Alliance, the president of which spoke last week, preached for us last week, Paul Rauschenbusch. They have a No Kings 3 interfaith training, and you can get information about that on our website. And then next Sunday here at All Souls, we're hosting a Social Change Now program, which is in 2 parts, at 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., meaning 2 separate parts, so come to both. And you can read more about that in your order of service. We also have coming up online a 2-part series on mindful eating. The first session is this Thursday at 7 on how mindful eating contributes to your personal health. And the second session is the following Thursday at 7 about how mindfulness contributes to the health of the planet. That's also in your order of service. So that's it for announcements, although we would love to stay connected with you if you don't get our emails, so do let us know at info@allsoulsnyc.org. And now please silence your electronic devices. And I invite you to quiet your hearts and your minds and your bodies as we listen to the call to worship.
Stars begin to I found out this week that New York City had a slave market, which I did not know. It stood on the corner of Wall Street and Pearl Streets, and it operated from 1711 to 1762. And in those 51 years it operated, the market trafficked thousands of women and men enslaved, shiploads of enslaved children, and even captured Native Americans. The city accrued vast wealth from slave labor during those years and continued because they trafficked slave products. Enslaved peoples contributed to the prosperity of famous companies like Aetna, New York Life, J.P. Morgan Chase that are still in existence here. That's just a few. So today we are lighting our chalice in honor of those enslaved souls and African American History Month. We should never forget that the wealth that surrounds us was built on the backs of slaves. We remember today, and I hope often, the histories and legacies of settler colonialism that allowed New York City to grow so huge economically.
Good morning, and welcome again to All Souls. My name is Andrew Taylor Troop, and some of you may recognize my face as a member of the All Souls and Musica Viva NY choirs. Like several of you, it's the music that drew me here to All Souls so many years ago, although in my case, quite literally. My first connection to All Souls actually goes all the way back to 1998. And it was through Professor Klaus, and many of you may remember him as Walter, or Wally Klaus, the music director here at All Souls for many years. I first attended a Musica Viva concert here, and it was the extraordinary music, the beautiful space, and the welcoming community that hooked me instantly. Fast forward a couple years to 2001. I completed my undergraduate studies, was pursuing postgraduate training, and working full-time. And after the tragic events of September 11th, like many others, I sought solace here at All Souls. In fact, it was at that evening memorial service only one day after 9/11 that we all came together to try and make sense of what happened and to take comfort in both community and in music. It was not long after that that I officially auditioned and joined the choir in January of 2002, finding not just a group to make music with, but a true choir family. All Souls has also supported me through several significant life events over the years. From first coming out and identifying as an openly gay man, also in 2001 if you're counting, to my first marriage in 2008, which took place actually right here in All Souls, and to its subsequent end, all the way to my current marriage to the love of my life, Everett Taylor Troop, who many of you have met at Musica Viva concerts and receptions. All Souls has also been a tremendous support for me and comfort during impossibly difficult times, such as the passing of my mother in 2020 and then my brother in 2023. Two of my strongest allies and anchors, and without whom my life has forever changed. Yet through it all, the most important takeaway is that All Souls and its many facets, from its music to its thought-provoking and inspiring sermons, and its welcoming and loving community, is more than a place. For many of us, it's actually a part of who we are. And in many ways, it's the embodiment and home for our spirits, which is truly made up of all of our souls. So to that end, I hope you can join us here in the sanctuary tonight at 5 p.m., both in body and in spirit, for the Music of Viva New York concert, which will not only be a performance of incredibly moving music, but also a truly reflective and meditative experience. Now I invite you to stand as you are willing and able, and join me in repeating the bond of union. In the freedom of the truth and in the spirit of love, we unite for the worship of God and the service of all.
Please stay standing and join in singing hymn number 368, Now Let Us Sing.
Good morning. Today's story is adapted from a story written by Janine K. Grossmeyer about Reverend Ethelred Brown, an inspiring UU ancestor story. One morning, more than 100 years ago, on the island of Jamaica, a boy named Ethelred Brown went to church. Now, usually at this Christian church, the people sang their creed, which is the list of the things that they believed in. But that morning, instead of singing the creed, the pastor said one line at a time, and the people would repeat it, very similar to how we often do a responsive reading. Ethelred listened closely. The minister said things like, "We believe the Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God, but they are not three gods, they are one God." Well, Ethelred loved math, and that was confusing. He thought, how can three be one? It doesn't make sense to me. So, right there in church, he realized that he didn't really believe what others in his community did, and he was going to have to find his own way. Later that day at his uncle's house, he saw a little booklet on the table, and the booklet said, "The Lord our God is one God." Well, this made sense to him, and that booklet was written by a Unitarian minister named William Ellering Channing. Ethelred read more and decided, "I think I'm a Unitarian." But there were no Unitarian churches in Jamaica. So once again, he knew he would have to find his own way. Ethelred grew up, he became an accountant, he married, he had 4 children, but when he was 32, he felt this calling in his heart. He wanted to become a Unitarian minister and start a church. He didn't know a single other Unitarian, and still he did not let that stop him. He wrote a letter to, quote, "any Unitarian minister in New York City," end quote. Now, eventually, someone wrote back from a seminary and said he had to attend school. Seminary is what ministers do to become ministers. He didn't have much money, and he never left Jamaica before, but again, he didn't let that stop him. He asked people for help, he saved up his money, he said goodbye to his family, and he got on a boat. The first time he arrived in the US, they sent him back. His papers were out of order. But again, he didn't let that stop him. He fixed everything and he tried again 3 years later. He made it to the seminary school. He went on to become the first Black person ever to be a Unitarian minister. The world wasn't fair, as you know, and some people told him he could only serve at a Black church. Except, you guessed it, there were no Black Unitarian churches anywhere. Did that stop him? No. He found a way. He went back to Jamaica, he started one himself, and after 8 years, he came to New York City again. He started a new church in Harlem. It wasn't easy, money was tight, some people were unkind, and he worked extra jobs. It was difficult for his family as well. But he kept going. He built a community that lasted for 35 years, and it helped hundreds of people find a spiritual home in Unitarianism. He once said, quote, "Brown, you need not be a minister at all, but if you do decide to enter the ministry, then you must enter the church wherein you can absolutely be honest. Honest with your people and honest with yourself," end quote. Today, you're going to sing a closing hymn inspired by his ministry, "I'm on my way," because that's how he lived, always finding a way forward. May his ministry be an inspiration to us all. Here ends our story. Please join me in singing our children and youth out to their programs with "Go Now in Peace." The words are in your order of service.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, source of all creation, soothe us with the balm of Gilead. Remind us that hope and joy are always flickering among us. We carry the weight of challenges, our own and our world's, and so many people and animals who suffer. These challenges feel loud and aggressive and gloomy, and they make us feel like we have to fix everything urgently. And if we don't, we will have failed. We gather here to be reminded this is not true. And there is so much we cannot see and cannot know. We cannot see the big picture and how our generous efforts, our kindnesses, our showing up, our smiles, our persistence, they make a difference. Writer Rebecca Solnit tells the story of a woman who was part of Women Strike for Peace, a group that protested nuclear testing in the early 1960s. The woman told Solnit about a morning when she was standing in the rain outside the White House, feeling foolish and ineffective. She was cold and soaked with rain and convinced that her small group of protesters wasn't making a dent in the massive machine that was the Cold War. What was the point? Years later, this woman heard an interview with Dr. Benjamin Spock, the famous pediatrician and activist. He was asked when he first became politically active, and he said, the turning point for him was one morning in the early 1960s when he saw a small group of women standing in the rain outside the White House. He thought to himself, if these women are that committed, I need to pay more attention. We remind ourselves that we cannot know how our actions matter. We cannot expect obvious or immediate results. There is great mystery in our interbeing. May we step away from the fear that says we are helpless. May we find joy in the way we show up for a neighbor, the way we keep our values alive, and the way we refuse to let our imaginations be conquered by cynicism. We are a part of a vast, messy, interdependent web. May we be stubborn in our faithful acts of joy and hope. Please stay seated as we join in singing hymn number 389, Gathered Here. Our practice of collecting an offering is a sacrament of this self-sustaining and self-governing congregation. Our offering will now be given and gratefully received to support our mission of transforming our own lives and the world around us.
The reading today is called God Says Yes to Me, and it's by Kaylin Hott. I asked God if it was okay to be melodramatic, and she said yes. I asked her if it was okay to be short, and she said, it sure is. I asked her if I could wear nail polish or not wear nail polish. And she said, honey, she calls me that sometimes. She said, you can do exactly what you want to. Thanks, God, I said. And it's okay if I don't paragraph my letters? Sweet cakes, God said. Who knows where she picked that up? What I'm telling you is yes, yes, yes. I love that. Years ago, I facilitated a course called Cakes for the Queen of Heaven. It's a feminist theology course in Weymouth, Massachusetts. And at the time, I was living in Boston. One particularly nasty, rainy, sleety Thursday night, much like tonight is going to be, I grumbled my way through the hour of traffic from Boston, gnashing my teeth, to join the 10 women there for our class. Everyone besides me, no, everyone including me, looked very bedraggled. You know, the sleet wet hair, the messy coats, the puddles on the floor, except for the woman who came in last. She was a community health nurse, and she'd been out all day. But she had this big smile on her face, to which we all kind of went, you know, why are you smiling? And she pointed to her shoes, and she said, hot pink boots with purple soles. Got me through the day and got me here. I have never forgotten that. Hot pink boots. And the other day, I was riding in the subway, and I saw a T-shirt on this person that said, treat yourself. And I went, treat yourself. A sermon was born. This one. When there are social and political upheavals, acts of violence, onslaughts to democracy, everything we have to navigate right now, does it even seem permissible to take a break or to find some joy? Does something like taking a break, resting, or finding joy diminish our commitments? Sweet cakes. What I'm telling you is no, no, no. Life is hard. And as soon as we realize that we cannot live the hardness, the expectations, the rules, whatever of life without a little break, without the capacity to create joy and happiness. That capacity is not inherent. We are actually hardwired and programmed to be afraid, to watch out for that dinosaur that's going to eat us or the saber-toothed tiger. We are genetically programmed to be on the watch, vigilant, scared for chemical depression, SAD, and lots of other mood disorders. That's actually what kept us alive long, long ago. But we've not forgotten that little piece of our brain that says, watch out, watch out. And the majority of the world's religions have not helped with that. They are not exactly full of permissions for love and joy and self-indulgence and hedonism. Hedonism's been given a really bad rap. You know. Idleness is a sin that leads us astray. Hinduism and paganism are the only two religions that I know of that give you explicit instructions on how to be decadent, how to find joy, pleasure in everything. That might be why I'm a pagan. For thousands of years, the pagans in Europe and the goddess cultures of the Middle East and Far East believed in all sorts of pleasures, beauty as an expression of the divine. Pagans and Hindus draw spirit near by pleasure, not by denying it, as so many other religions do. This really came home to me when I was doing a Pastors for Peace caravan. I drove a truck from New England, big box truck, really big Mercedes box truck. I learned 18 gears to drive that truck. And we were making our way over the border into El Salvador one night when and theft, crime, violence was very prevalent on that border. And we were told and warned that people were going to be waiting for us to steal the material aid. We had 21 trucks, and we were worried. So when we got there and when it became dark, we accounted for our vehicles, locked everything up, and then we were instructed to walk two abreast in a line with guns, armored guards on either side of us into the hotel where we'd be staying. We were instructed not to leave the locked facility for any reason while it was dark. Vehicle checks were conducted by groups of 4 people with armed guards every hour. Once we were inside the hotel, we found this beautiful tiled garden with hanging greenery, and food was laid out for us. We had great tortillas and black beans and rice, cold beer, and a mariachi band was playing. You would never know what was going on outside. I noticed 4 men in particular who were drinking a lot of cerveza frio, and they were singing, they were dancing. We gringos were invited to join in, and almost till dawn, the party went on. The lust for life in that room was so inspiring. It wasn't until the next morning that I was introduced to the 4 men who'd been leading the festivities: Tito, Guillermo, Antonio, and Julio. They were all members of the opposition in El Salvador. They were actually there to guide us over the border to our places where we were going to distribute our material aid. Tito was a Baptist minister. He had lived in the hills of El Salvador for almost 10 years, fighting for the resistance, ministering to the campesinos who were hidden up there. His younger brother, Julio, was only 16. He had learned to carry a gun at the age of 10 to fight for the resistance. Guillermo also lived in the hills and been fighting for the FMLN for around 10 years as well. And Antonio was a Mexican man who actively supported the resistance by making sure that they got medicine, food, and everything they need. So he was running through the dark from Mexico up into the hills to make sure that these resistors could survive. Those 4 men, along with the army that they worked with, had fought for liberation from their oppressive, murderous government for decades. The depth of the violence and the suffering that they had encountered was way beyond anything someone raised in the United States could imagine. Even now, consistently, for over a decade, they resisted a government that sanctioned murder and mutilation, that maintained a system of injustice and oppression. When I thought back that day after I was introduced and learned their stories of the jovial festivities that I had witnessed, I realized that joy does not happen in the absence of suffering. It inspires the courage to remain open despite it. Joy is not a denial or evasion of reality. It is the courage producer to face it. These men drew spirit near through dance, pleasure, and companionship. They were soulmates in the resistance, and it was through their devotion to each other Not only that they found joy, but they sustained their commitment. Joy does not come from denying the reality of the world around us or trying to escape its chaos and confusion. How many of you have read the Book of Joy by Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama? A few. The man who wrote that, Douglas Abrams, says in his beginning that he was inspired to write or to do that book, to interview the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, because he himself was in a moment of fragility. He was worn out. He'd lost his inspiration to write. He was in a very weary moment, and he was feeling that joy was not only irresponsible, but it was not available to him. It was a luxury reserved for people untouched by loss. Until he encountered Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama, laughing. This is what he writes of that joy that he witnessed. Not ignoring suffering, not minimizing it, laughing inside it. Their joy did not feel naive. It felt defiant, earned, deeply human. As their conversations unfolded, I realized that this was not a book about happiness as a mood, but joy as a posture, a way of standing in the world even when it is breaking your heart. A benevolent, loving God is part of our universalist, tradition. And that loving God has intended for us to have fun. That means we have permission, but not only permission, but encouragement to wear hot pink boots with purple soles, to hang upside down, to skate in Rockefeller Center. I'm planning to ski down Fifth Avenue tomorrow in my cross-country skis, I'll have you know. And if anybody wants to take my picture, please let me know, because I've got to capture it for next year's Christmas card. That will be a showstopper. Gathered here in the struggle and the power, we need to be drawing spirit near. I believe we are totally created. We've been given eyes, ears, mouths, skin. We have been given all of the instruments of pleasure. Nothing is lacking. And it is only that experience of pleasure that enables us to endure pain. It is the memory of pleasure that allows us to endure loss. Joy is a practice, not a personality trait. And we need joy right now. So practice. Do it. Yes, yes, yes. Eat that mango naked in bed. Take a bubble bath. Run down the street when you feel like it. Miss the bus. Skip work. Take your lover off for a weekend, or better yet, go off by yourself for a weekend. Indulge your wildest whimsies. God says yes, and she is just waiting to behold the breathtaking beauty of what she created out there having fun. Give her a reason to smile and feel good about everything she's given us. Laughter can coexist with grief and does not dishonor it. Yes, yes, yes. The world may not be joyful right now, but our lives can be. So may it be. Now, you get to practice. So rise in body or spirit as you are able, and we're going to sing that hymn written by the wonderful Black minister who wrote it, and it's I'm on my way. And I do not expect you to just stand there. I expect you to do some of this. I'm on my way. You got to practice. If you're going to be joyful, it's a practice. So the choir is going to make us feel confident in the music, so you can play. It's number 116. Our closing words today are actually in your hymnals. It's number 517, and it's the charge to the Star Goddess by Starhawk. Pamela is going to lead that side. I'm not doing left and right today. I've done that before. And I'm going to lead this side. She is going to begin. I am going to follow. So find 517 in your hymnals.
I, who am the beauty of the green earth and the white moon, among the stars and the mysteries of the waters,
I call upon your soul to arise and come unto me.
For I am the soul of nature that gives life to the universe.
From me all things read, and unto me they must return.
Let my worship be in the heart that rejoices, for behold, all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals.
Let there be beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and reverence within you.
And you who seek to know me, know that your seeking and yearning will avail you not unless you know the mystery.
For if that which you seek you find not within yourself, you will never find it without.
For behold, I have been with you from the beginning.
And I am that which is attained at the end of desire.
As we extinguish the light of our chalice, we carry the fire of commitment and the love of this community with us always. And now in our going, may God bless us and keep us. May the light of love shine upon us and out from within us, and be gracious unto us and give us peace. For this is the day we are given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.